Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
What up, world? I want to welcome you to the conversations that we don't have, escaping Jezebel's web. I am your host, Kasaira Elvie, also known as Lady K. Here, this is a faith-led, healing-centered podcast where we talk about the conversations many women and men keep in silence. We talk about relationships, motherhood, fatherhood, faith, patterns, and personal growth. Here, we name the unhealthy cycles, speak truth without shame, and choose healing and freedom. These are the conversations we don't have until now. Let's go talk about it. What up, world? It's your girl, Kasaira Elvie, and this is Conversations We Don't Have, Escaping Jezebel's Web. Now, I want to let you all know that it's been a month, so hello. And today we're going to talk about something people do not say out loud. And I am one of those people. And my episode is the mother wounds we don't talk about. So, what do you do when your mother is still alive, but the relationship is dead? Let's ponder on that for a second. Did you hear what I said? What do you do when your mother is still alive, but the relationship is dead? Yes, mother wounds. What am I talking about? I am talking about people that have broken relationships with their mothers. Now, I want to be as sensitive as I want to be as sensitive as I can, because this conversation came to me because I have a lot of friends that have lost their mom, and I used to feel guilt. So this conversation is really going to be about truth. We're going to talk about the grief. We're going to talk about the guilt. And we're going to talk about the healing. But before I do all of that, I do want to start off with a little bit of prayer, because as you all know, I really try to let this be as raw as possible. I got some notes though, to help me guide me through a little bit. But Heavenly Father, we come to you today. We thank you for another month that we are able to be here today and to just talk about things of the heart. Father God, I pray that you would help me be able to talk about these things, that I won't hurt or offend someone, but I will have somebody look at it in another manner, or someone that can say, I know what you're going through. I feel you. So Father God, we ask that the Holy Spirit lead me and guide me. And we pray and we ask that you guard the people's heart, that this will not be offensive, but this will be the truth that will help us be set free. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Now I got to tell you all, this right here is not, as I want to say, it's not from a professional viewpoint. This is really from my viewpoint. And so the reason why I'm talking about this, because this is going on in my life right now. And I thought about it and I just like, I have friends also that don't have a good relationship with their mom, and the relationship is dead, right? So I was like, I really wanted to talk about this. So I want to talk about, there are two kinds of pain that we don't compare, but we both feel, like I said. And for some people that lost their mom physically, and for the ones like us, sorry you all, that we lost a relationship, or there was never one there, right? Because we have some people that have been adopted, or some that end up being in foster care. some that lost their parents, one of their parents at an early age, So those things right there would touch hard. But what I do know is that a person that has lost their mom, we really don't like to say a lot. Like, I'm the type of person that if I did have a situation with my mom and I'm with my friend that just lost their mom or have lost their mom in the past years, I usually don't want to talk about it because you always have that person saying, oh, I wish my mom was still here. I would do anything to have my mom back, right? And I also want to say that this is not to hurt, harm. And I always tell people, when you tell your truth, the best part about telling your truth is when you release is when you can do it without hurting the other person. That's a part of the truth, your truth, right? So I want to get right into it. Sorry, my notes don't say. But anyway, so I used to feel really guilty. I used to feel really guilty, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that. And why did I feel guilty, right? You feel guilt because she's still alive. You're supposed to honor your mother. I honor my mother, first of all. Let me break that down, because some don't. Some people do have real bad relationships with their parents where they like, no. Now, for me, even though I don't get 100% along with my mother, I still try to be there for her, honor her. And it is not easy. It is definitely not easy when you have a feeling of the lack of that mother and daughter interaction or relationship. Let's talk about some that said others who would give anything to get their parents back or their mother back, right? So that makes me suffer. That sometimes we think, well, we suffer in silence. Like I said, one of the ways is my girl be like, oh, my mom, and I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because some people get mad. I had a couple of people get mad, and they was like, I wish I could have my mom here. You got to make sure you honor your mom. You got to make sure you love your mom. You only get one mother. You only get one. Make it right, right? So these are people that had relationships with their mom. Their mom was very loving and tender. They were just great. They just had some were best friends with their moms, right? It's easy for a person to say that when you experience a healthy mother and daughter relationship. But when it comes to me, it's like, no, I hear you. I hear you. That is a desire for me. But in reality, I know that it's not going to happen. So you're saying do everything you can for your mom, make it work. But how do you make it work if the other party is not trying to, or it still puts you in a position where it damages you? Should I force myself? Remember last month, so long ago, but I did also on my other podcast. You do not have to continuously involve yourself or be around someone, right, that kind of hurts you, that brings negativity, that hinders your health. I mean, your healing too, your health too. Because if you're stressing, it can kill you, right? They say stress kills. But I really just wanted to dive deep into this. And so here goes some truths, right, that I said. And I had to look things up. And they said grief is not only about death. You can grieve the mother you never had, the relationship you hoped for, or the love you did not receive. Now, to be perfectly honest, I think I want to see, how I could explain what I'm talking about, because I want to be as raw and real, but still I'm tiptoeing Even though it's conversations that we don't have, escaping Jezebel's web. I don't want to get emotional. So with me, I know that my mother loves me, or she loves me the only way she knows how to, and that is still toxic. I grew up in a very strict and Christian home, single mother, if you want to know a little bit about me and my mom's relationship. And one of the things that I always tell my mother, or when it's a heated argument or she mad, and I'd be like, look, I would never take away from you being a good mother. My mother was a good mother. Now, the part about us bonding, I don't know what happened to that. I hear stories as when I was a little kid or a baby, how intensive she was with me, right? Or how I was close to my mom. I can remember certain things as when I was younger that I did used to love being around my mom. And then my brother came. That was 7 years. We had 7 years apart. But it was, for me, when I look back, when the next child came up, I was kind of pushed to the side. And not in a sense of being totally ignored. My mother was a single parent. I was a very mature, smart young lady, right? At 7 years old, my mom was teaching me how to cook. I was all this stuff. So I became my mom's helpmate, right? Sometimes I say it and I categorize it as I was basically my mom's husband. I mean, my mom's wife. While she was a husband, she was gone working, and I had to make sure I ran the household. Now, could it be that the older she got and the more I felt probably kind of alone, and she was busy trying to provide for her two children, not understanding that she has issues, mommy, daddy issues, or life decisions that she made could have made her this way. And then what if she was, she was trying, right? So you got to give it to a person that was trying. But even within that trying, we want to talk about some other things that unprocessed grief. And I think even in that zone, I told you that I had started having to have responsibilities to help assist my mom. It did bring anger or distant, emotional shutdown. Or when I started getting relationships, sometimes you overcompensating in other relationships, right? And that's why when I started getting older and I started healing, I had to understand, I had to go all the way back to when I felt the change of my character, the trauma that I dealt with. And so, y'all, I can't believe it. It's only been 8 minutes and I'm talking. I feel like I told a lot. But yeah, don't worry, you all. I promise you, I'm going to start having guests starting next month, and we're going to even dive a little bit deeper into these relationships because, and I'm going to have my girl Marilyn on here. Can't say her last name right now, but we want to talk about these relationships. We don't talk a lot about the dysfunction of a child and a parent's relationship. And I think that really needs to be talked about because we feel certain things, we talk certain ways. And when we get in a position to be the same parent, sometimes some of them things transfer to your parenting. And I mean by that, sometimes if you think about, well, my mom did this, she put me on punishment and did this, and I didn't like that. So when I have kids, I'm going to do it this way. And then you realize when you do it that way, those kids got issues or problems with how you are parenting at times. But this topic was really, really hard for me. And I don't want to jump all over the place because I may talk, but let the Holy Spirit lead. I feel like in my situation with my mother, for me, I feel like she hasn't healed from her disappointments in life. Also, I don't feel as if she, what's the word I want to use? I think she once stuck in her ways. My mother just turned 70 and she looks great and awesome. But sometimes you just be stuck that you like, you either love me or not, right? And I think that this is my personal belief. I think that my mom went through a stage as being a preacher's kid and the failure that she may have felt towards her parents, that when she got older and she was like, okay, I want to get my life right with God again, that she got went overboard. But but I think it was always that she's still trying, my beliefs, I could be wrong, that she's still trying to make up for what she didn't do in her youth. I mean, that's like, either dating or having children at a wedlock, as the Christian home would talk about, right? Because my mom lived in a household where her father is the pastor. So sometimes it's different for preachers' kids than a regular person that don't have a parent that has a title. Because why? They don't have standards that they have to live up to publicly. I'm saying everybody has standards, but we're talking about even publicly, right? So I feel like when it came down to me, she was so hard on trying to protect her children and or try to make sure that they didn't live or make the same mistakes that she made. I think that's what most all parents, right? I think that when what's the word? When even when I want to say this, I told you I'm trying to be real sensitive, because I need my sisters, and if my brothers watch it, I need some of you all that have lost your mother understand how some other people may feel. Like I said, and I'm getting emotional, but like I said, I always want to make sure that I'm being respectful, and when I talk about these things, because I really was on my mind, like, yo, I wish I could have a relationship with my mother, but my mother is here. What do you do when your mother's here and it's already as if she's dead? And I was like, when I told one of my friends, and they was like, oh my God, yes, you're right. Yes. When you have tried, I have tried. But with that, I also say, oh, yo, I got to love her where she is. I got 4 kids that I have to make sure I have a relationship with. I have to make sure that I heal, that I stop the generational curse. Because what I noticed in our timeline on both sides, well, not really, well, yes, on both sides on my family, on my dad's side, my mom's side, but really more so on my mom's side, that there is not a mother and child or daughter relationship bond, really. It seems to me as if each generation, as I go back, as far as I can remember, there was still always some type of conflict within the mother and daughter, some with the mother and sons, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to break that generational curse. Well, hell, I have a bad relationship with my oldest daughter. So it's like one of those, what do we do? Because now that I'm in that state, and I'm not going to lie to y'all, I'm going to be 100% real with you. My own daughter told me, I hope you die. Then I found out, she said, I hate that bitch. And then I look back and say, what did I do? I tried to do the best. The cycle has to stop. We don't really talk about these things because why? It's hurtful. Because why? Our mother is still here, right? Sorry, I'm not trying to get emotional. But it's like, what happens? And so I just want to read some more of my notes, because some of these facts, and I'm going to mispronounce this word. Anguish loss? What? Okay. Let me tell y'all. I want to let's see. All right. So I want to talk about what I found out with psychology. They call that an ambiguous loss. So that means someone is physically present but emotionally unavailable. And this type of loss is actually harder sometimes because there's no closure. And I really agree with that. Like I said, there's no funeral, there's no ending, there's no clear resolutions, just distance and confusion. I love that because I think within my situation, I had to learn when I was younger and me and my mom had our couple falling outs. She would push me to the point where I would just explode. And the more I still built my relationship with God, you know, it always says, and parents love, most parents love to how let's say that, excuse me, is that you are supposed to love, honor thy father and thy mother, for thy days will be long. And I understood that. And so one day I heard, do not provoke your child to anger. And I was like, wait a minute. We always talk about honor thy mother, thy father, but what happens when your parent pushes you to a point where you just feel like you have to defend yourself, right? And I think maybe I've done that with my kids at times. I don't know, because I ask questions. I mean, I think I'm a type of person, and I talk to my kids. I show my kids things about, like, even when I go through with my mom. And one of those things is you still got to respect your parent. But here's the thing. I'm learning, yes, I am learning that I have to sometimes move myself around. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that too when we get to the point where what do we do to heal? But I want to go back into remember that I still love my mom. Like, can't nobody mess with my mom. And I tell my kids, 'cause I have my son live with my mom right now. And I told my son, and I tell all my kids, don't disrespect my mother, I will kill you. Right? And it's so weird. They'd be like, huh? No, I don't care if me and my mother relationship is not the best, but that's my mother. She took care of me, and I don't play about her. Now, does that mean I got to be around her every day? No. I'm still going to make sure that that's my goal. But here we go. When you get into it, I remember I just got to my mom and I was like, I don't care about none of that. I don't want none of your personal belongings. I just want to make sure that I love you from a distance. Because what that does for me is it keeps me being righteous. And then also it protects my peace. But what do you do too for the people that still desire that motherly bond? What do y'all do? Some still are like, I still want my mom. And we have some things that I want to talk about. So we say things like, I've had to ask myself, right? And I've had to ask myself, why does this hurt so much? Right? Why do I still hope for something different? And why do I feel guilty for needing space? Now with the questions, starting off with, why does this hurt so much? Let me explain to my sister and my brothers out there. Why do it hurts so much? For me, not as much now, but at first, because if you ever just looked or looked at somebody, mother and daughter relationship that has the best, like you hear about, I can't go a day without talking to my mother. Me and my mother talk all day long, or they're best friends. Or do you see these movies or these shows, these sitcoms of the motherly bond? And it's like, Why can't I have that? That's what hurts. Because I think we all can sometimes live in a fantasy world, or where you say, oh, I wish I could have such a relationship like that. You know, and when it does, and when it is not happening, it's like, how do I supposed to feel? Now, seriously, when you don't have that motherly bond, and then sometimes here goes the guilt too. With me, I didn't have a mom that neglected me in the sense of taking care of me, like providing clothes, food, shelter. I didn't lack that, right? But what I lacked was, when I got older, feeling not understood, right? Or even with the rejection issues, it was one of those where I was just here to do what I'm told to do. And my mom used to joke, and my brother mentioned that not too long ago, and I had forgot about it, but it's not a fun feeling when my mom said, I didn't want to always be a mother, but I couldn't wait to be a grandparent. It's like, how you skip being a parent to being a grandparent? So your thing was to have these kids, hurry up and give them grandkids, and then you want to be that soft, loving? No. And actually, yeah, that's not how my mom is. My mom is one of them new school grandparents. She don't babysit nobody kids. She busy trying to live her life. And I try to respect that. And the reason why I try to respect that is because, you know, she didn't ask to be a single parent, right? So I think that she deserves that time. Do I wish that she could be more of a loving grandparent that help her kids out? I do. But I deal with, and this is the painful part too, I deal with what her standards are for what she thinks I should be or what I should do. Same thing that she went through with her parents. You see how a parent could bring on mother and mommy and daddy issues from their parents? Now, my mom is a Christian, and her beliefs are really biblical. And because me and my brother decided not to go that route at first, that I think that disappointed her, right? But we want to talk about how I also, why do I still hope for something different? Back in the day, I thought that the older we get, the more she may understand me, or the more she will accept me, because I am an adult now. I'm a grown up. I am a queen. Clock that, because I pay my dues to be a queen. And I didn't see a change. So do we keep on holding on to false hope because of the title that she holds? I'm just saying, how long do we continuously be in a broken relationship hoping that it's going to change? I think that's like, that's what they call hopelessness, that we're holding on to hopelessness. And that's when I came to realization that I really just need to learn how to accept my mother for who she is. I grew up with her. I know what triggers her at times, right? Like they know us a little bit. So it's like, do I continuously entertain it, or do I move around? I think I'm gonna move around. That's what I chose. And then here we go with, why do I feel guilty for needing space? One, I feel guilty because at times I used to feel because my mother is still here. That's another reason why we hold on to trying to fix something that is broken, that is not going to be able to fix. You know, sometimes a shattered glass, you can't put all them pieces together at times. You just got to sweep it up, throw it in the garbage, and yeah, anyway. So that part. The second part is the feeling that you have towards your mother. Some may have anger. Some, like mine, got hatred. Some, like mine, still deal with neglect. I don't want to be bothered, right? It's like you neglected me, now you need me. No. So that guilty part, feeling that, or your kids seeing that, because now you're trying to have a relation with your children and they're going to look at how you are with your mother. That's another chain reaction of what I want to say. That's a chain reaction of generational. I don't like to say curses. Everything's not a curse. So generation reoccurrences. You start to see that. But I want to tell you this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then we'll be back and I'll talk a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
What up, world? I want to welcome you to the conversations that we don't have, escaping Jezebel's web. I am your host, Kasaira Elvie, also known as Lady K. Here, this is a faith-led, healing-centered podcast where we talk about the conversations many women and men keep in silence. We talk about relationships, motherhood, fatherhood, faith, patterns, and personal growth. Here, we name the unhealthy cycles, speak truth without shame, and choose healing and freedom. These are the conversations we don't have until now. Let's go talk about it. All right, welcome back. I'm your girl, Kasaira Elvie, aka Lady K, and these are conversations we don't have, escaping Jezebel web. And if you're just tuning in, know that we are talking about the mother wounds we don't talk about. And you know, I'm going to revisit this. I'm going to revisit this topic again because I want to have another person on here that we can really talk about that, and you can get another viewpoint from somebody else, because I know some people that have maybe, I don't want to say, I don't like to compare, but have more of a difficult upbringing and the way they feel about their moms, right? Now, I was telling you about, asked the question about the feeling of the guilt of having space, because, you know, that is one of the things, if you do still have, I don't want to say that neither. Let me talk about me. The guilt I was feeling was because I have friends that lost their mother, and I was just like, man, I do have my mom here. I'm going to try. But what happens when trying, or you're trying and then you're continuously being let down? What happens when you choose? What happens when you try to have a different relationship with your mother in another form of a way, try to please her? Or we could say you inconvenience your comfortability to convenience someone else. So my thing is, I will not. Let me get the words right, y'all, because I feel like I came up with this, and this is right after my separation of my marriage I had. But I said I will not inconvenience my comfortability for another individual that will not do the same. That goes with everybody. Okay, y'all? That's everybody. If you have a person and you know that you already inconveniencing your comfortability, because that's what most of us do when we love somebody or we care for somebody. Sometimes we will go ahead and inconvenience our livelihood for them. But what happens when you don't get that in return? How long do you keep doing that until it finally just breaks you down? I'm just saying, you know, we have to learn how to even choose peace. And that's where I am. I want to protect my peace at all costs. If you do not bring me happiness, if you don't bring me if you don't have a solution for my situation, I don't bother with you. If we can't talk about something positive of growing or healing, I don't want to be bothered. Now, this part that I do want to dive in some more is when we are the comparisons of the pain. And so there is another layer, you know, watching other people, like people who had loving mothers or lost their mother that was close to them. And now you're sitting here and you're thinking like, am I being ungrateful? Or I should be grateful. You know, mine is still here. I got to make it work, you know, for my friend, because my friend lost her mom. And it's like, out of respect and the love for my friend, I'm like, all right, sis, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try. And we inconvenience our comfortability for that reason. But here's the truth, though. Pain is not a competition. I just said that. Pain is not a competition. You know, grief is real. And for my people out there that has been feeling a little guilt too, you do have the right to have that feeling, because we are grieving a live person. And I think that grief does not just always have to deal with death. Grieving is an end of something. And, you know, let's see. I said you're grieving as, you know, a living person, a broken bond, an unmet need. And so, I think like if I pray about it, because let me tell you this, even when I pray about it, I still be like, all right, God, I pray that you can fix this relationship. And even deep down inside right now, I'll be like, but I want you to heal it, God. But now I'm at the point where I'm okay with not having a relationship. I'm okay with not talking to her every day. I'm okay with going on with life, but I still want to make sure she's good. I want to make sure her mental is fine. I want to make sure she don't go to a nursing home. You know, you still want to take care of her. And the part is sometimes that you have to realize that, like, I pray that we could be good, because when I look back, now that I'm a mother and I have children and I have standards and I'm trying to do my best as a single parent. Well, I mean, here we go with the pattern. And then sometimes it makes you think like, okay, is this what she was feeling? Because as parents, we try so hard to do the right thing for our children, right? And we also raising our children the way we think that they're supposed to be, right? Train up a child. And what I mean by that, I'm the type of mother that you got to live up to your full potential. Life's not chess. Life is like chess. It's not checkers. You have to be a righteous person. What I mean by righteous, be fair, be loving to people, be loving to a person. Don't lie. Be responsible. You know, I'm that like that type of parent. I'm installing that in my kids. You know, even now, talking about pain, talking about all right, this is trauma. We need to get healing. Let's talk about it. So when it comes to me becoming a mother, I'm always asking, am I doing this the right way? Here I go again. Am I repeating what my mom did? Am I over capacitating? Because some people that didn't have a good mom, I've seen that too. That was raised and didn't have a good mom or whatever. I've seen how they are with their children, which means they are like totally over like spoiling them. Totally just so super lovey-dovey. Not to saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying you try to do different. So like with me, I'm gonna give you an example. I learned to say I love you from my dad. And my dad was an absentee father. He was in and out, you know. My mom didn't teach me that. So guess what I learned? Guess what I wanted to do when I became a parent? I made sure that I always told my children I love you. My mom wasn't that person. I don't even remember my mom telling me she was proud of me. But I mean, hey, sometimes you don't remember things as a kid. So I'm not going to say my mom never told me that she was proud of me when I was a kid. But in my memory, I don't remember that. So I'm just giving an example. My dad used to tell me, love you more. So when I was raising my children, I always say I love you. Even my kids, we get out the phone. I love you. Walk during the day. I love you. And I did that because I'm like, yo, I didn't hear it. I want to make sure that my kids know and hear it every day. Okay? I literally, and I'm going to tell you this too. I remember, I'm a type of person that I love telling everybody I love you. Like, yo, love you. All right, see you later. Love you. And I remember one day, me and my mom was okay. Kind of rocky, but we was okay. And I'll tell you this, me and my mom don't be having no hollering match and all that type of stuff all the time. No, it ain't even that chaotic, but there's trauma and pain there. But anyway, so I remember, I was like, all right, mom, I'll talk to you later, love you. Don't say that to me. You don't mean it. You say, I love you. And I was like, that hurt me. Because here I am telling a person who raised me that I love you because I didn't say it the way you wanted me to say it. It don't mean nothing to you. I don't love you. And ever since then, I've tried a couple of times. I love you. She never said it back. Ask me, how do that make me feel? It was hurtful. It was devastating. I'm going to tell you how. But here we go. I have the right to remove myself. So guess what I do now? And it hurts, and I can't even do. No, I'm gonna say that hurt. It's not as hard now. But how do you feel when you can't even tell your mother I love you? But she'll turn around and tell your kids right in your face. She'll say, or be on the phone with the kids. All right, I love you. And Yaya loves you. How is it so hard to say I love you? Or why do you feel that your child doesn't love you? You don't want to hear it. Love you don't mean nothing. I got to say, I love you. So you're gonna still dictate and tell me how to love you. So I have to stop. So now when I see my mom, I don't say I love you. Or I don't say love you. Because I normally say when I be moving around, I love you. I don't always say, I love you. Most times I say, I love you. Talk to you later. Don't do it. At first it was painful. Now it's like, this is who she is. I have to respect what she wants. She doesn't feel that from me. Why keep saying it? You know, certain things like you have to just come up with some type of comparison. comparison. Like, I mean, compromise. Like, all right, cool. You don't want to hear me say it? Cool. I can show it because love is an action word too. So I'll just show it, right? I don't have to say it, but I can show it. So some things you have to reprogram your mind from the pain of certain things to like, okay, can't do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. And what I learned even with that, you know, some people I see also, you become overly soft. I was just talking about, or overly strict. I think I became that overly strict and overly protective parent because, excuse me. I think it's like one of those, and what I mean by overly protective, I think sometimes I could be overly protective at times. And I just told my kids this. I remember when I was growing up, I've always had a nice figure, jiggly booty. And I remember I felt like my family body shamed me, but it really wasn't until I got older and I had to explain something to my kids because something just happened. Nothing bad, but I had to explain to them why I made the decisions I made for whatever they were about to do. But I remember that I was told, suck your butt in, stop walking, because I was a tomboy. I didn't want to do all that stuff. And me growing up, I thought I was ashamed of my body. But then when I got older and just talking to my grandmother, I realized that they were just protecting me because of the men that was around. And I had a nice figure. So certain things like that, you got to think about, you know, they are overprotective. Didn't realize they was having mommy and daddy issues too. And we put that on our children. And one of the things I try now is I have 3 daughters. All of them have a beautiful shape. And so I learned, I tried to learn how to inform them about their appearance without hindering their beauty or their thought of their beauty, because most people go to have a body that we were blessed with, or get surgery to have a body that we were blessed with. And I really wanted my children to still understand that they're beautiful. We just have to be conscious about, you know, I just try to do it a different way. You always try to do something different that you didn't like when you was a kid, right? One of the things that I did that with my kids, and I see that it kind of harmed them, especially my oldest kids, is I was raised, you're not supposed to talk bad about the father, right? And so me, when I grew up and I got my kids now, I'm like, yo, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest about factual things, nothing mean, but factual things. I'm going to be honest about it. Well, I found out my kids didn't like that. When I was a kid, I was like, yo, I wish my mom did tell me or warn me about certain things with my father that would have helped me with rejection issues or feeling neglected or just not even fully loved or seen. If my mom would have warned me, then I probably would have did a little bit better. Well, and I got my kids, and they're not too much, but I had my oldest one say, well, we didn't really like it when you da-da-da. Told the truth about your dad or spoke about my dad. Could have put him in an uncomfortable situation. This is real, y'all. This is real. For me, trying, and I know I can't be the only one. To this day, I wish but hey, I tell my people now, they couldn't believe, I can't believe it. Sorry, you're such a good mother. Because when things like this happen, when you hear your kids say, oh my God, I hate you, I don't love you. It's like, what? One of the most hurtful, painful words you can hear from a kid's mouth. But I tell my people, I say, I love my daughter. I just be dead till she resurrect me. I have to let her figure things out. My daughter's grown now. She's 18. So now it's like, okay, I have to let her get through what she's going through. And when she's ready, then we can talk. Because what I am in the process doing, I am going to break generational curses. We're not, even with my son. And we're going to talk about that. That's next month. But even with my son, I had to, I ask questions because I feel like, what if my mom really sat down to understand why the issues that I have with her? So I do that with my children because I want to know. Like my friend one time told me, he said, well, Mom, you just so controlling. That's a part of my overprotective, overly strict self, because it's like, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. I'm trying to tell you this. And he's like, Ma, yo, you doing so much. You ain't even give me no room to mess up. And I didn't. And I mean, we just had a situation now, but what if I did just let my son be a little, gave my son a little bit more freedom of expressing himself or expressing himself in any kind of way? What would have been a different outcome? But because what I think about with my mom, my mom, I don't remember my mom going to, I didn't do any real activities. Why? Because my mom was single mom trying to fit the bills, child support, one paying all the bills. She has her own home, own house. That has our spend with water, gas, electricity, all that stuff, sewage, trash. That's a lot of bills. And you're doing it all by yourself. So I understand. I tried to always understand where my mom was coming from. And then, remember, I want to go into healing before we get off. I want to go through healing and the breakthrough. And so some of the things that I did pull out that I want to talk about, how do we heal? And I have 5 of them. So the first one is accept the truth, not the version you wish it was. Just said that. Great example, the I love you, the love you. I should want me to say it. Accept that. Now go around the other way. Okay, well, I can't say it. I'll show you. Right? Sometimes people do still stick on that hopelessness, where you're like, oh, this could happen one day. Even when we're in abusive relationships, you think about that. Oh, if I do this way or if I do that, then they'll love me or they'll treat me better. And then you still suffer because you can't even be yourself. Because I told my mom now, I remember my mom wanted to go out with me. She wanted to hang out. And here we go. I'm always doing what she wants to do. And that was the thing I had said to her. She didn't like it though. But it was funny. She was like, I want you to go out with me to this Steppers party. We have a good time. And da-da-da-da. And I was like, now I'm at the point, because we're going to get to this, about boundaries. Now I'm at the point where, you want me to hang out with you, Mom? Because I'm like 40 now. You want to hang out? I got to be able to be me. She said, well, what do that mean? You don't know how to go out and just be respectful to your mom? Well, hell, I do, but respect is you respecting me of who I am and what I am. You mean I got to still act like a child? Because my mother, Christian, she don't like cursing and all that stuff, but she'll curse here and every blue moon. So it's okay when you want to do every blue moon. But because I'm a saved cusser, yes, a saved cusser, sorry. But I could do it. So when she said that, I was like, nah, I don't want to go. I'm good. Because I'm at a point where I just want to be me. If you don't love me for me, then you're just not meant to be. But anyway, so here we go. We're going to release the expectations that they will become who you need, who you needed. I like that. Release the expectations. And that is one of my problems with releasing it. Give yourself permission to feel without guilt. And create boundaries without hatred. That's the season I'm at. I am in a season where, Mom, this is me. This is how I am. This is what I want to accept. This is what I won't accept. And that's it. If you can't respect those boundaries, then I got to move around. I got to protect my peace. And I want to make sure that I still honor you. I want to make sure that I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to have a debate with my mother. It's like, and I told my mother she felt disrespected. But I told her one day we had a disagreement a couple of years ago. And I said, all right, Mom. And this is when I'm on my hallelujah path. And I said, look, Mom, I just want to let you know right now, without no disrespect, if I feel the conversation is about to go left, I am going to say, all right, Mom, I'm going to get off the phone. Have a good day. I said, because I'm not going to argue with you anymore. Well, she didn't believe that until I did that. Then it was all disrespectful. And then we go to a part where my mom hasn't fully healed herself in situations. And I just I tried to tell her about a situation. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a one right now. Well, maybe bring it up before I get off. My daughter's birthday just passed. My mom's birthday passed. They're a day apart. And so my mom asked my daughter, what does she want for Christmas? She wanted for her birthday. And so my daughter loves Hello Kitty characters, right? If you know Hello Kitty characters, then you know it's not demonic. So my daughter sent her a picture. My mom texted back and said, that's demonic. Sorry, I don't feel comfortable buying that. I'm not getting it. Pick something else. So for me, and that's my child, and I'm raising her and I'm teaching her, I was like, hey, Mom, not trying to be offensive or disrespectful, but it's not demonic. Please, I wish I could read the text. I'm going to read the text message to y'all. We'll tell you what really went down. What really went down. I just want to read it. And you all tell me, because I'm going to tell you this. When I say this part, y'all be like, well, she has the right. And I'm like, yes, she does. Check this out. But anyway, so the conversation was, I said, okay, it's not demonic. This is consigned. Let my mom know it was me because they were talking through my phone. And I said, the best choice is to probably give her a gift card. I said, our beliefs are different from yours, and I don't want you to put your thoughts in my girl's head. No disrespect. Now, what I meant by that is my mom, me personally, I felt, yo, Mom, you're going to say, hey, I don't feel comfortable buying that. No. But the demonic, I'm like, yo, don't put that in my kid's head. And I'm talking about the Hello Kitty, you all. I'm talking about, and I can show you a picture. I'm talking about this. Okay. Now, here we go. Why I say can't do that. Back in the day, it's still one of my mom's favorite shows. It's The Monsters. Addams Family. Well, hell, they were monsters. They weren't demonic, were they? What? But you watched it. So why you to plant that in my daughter's head when you was watching things that somebody could consider demonic? But it was entertainment. It was a comic. It was comical. These are things I'm talking about, I deal with. And then she went off on me. And I was like, see? Now, I did respond back a little bit here and there, but I'm always about responding fairly. But I did point things out. Hey, you got to heal. This is a season where people need to heal. And if no one is on that choo-choo train with you, if you on a healing journey and they're not with you and they're causing hindrance, you got to kick them out. Leave around. So to my people that have lost their mother, definitely my condolences. And to my people that are still dealing with mommy, that's still dealing with issues with their mom that is peer present, do not feel guilty. You take the responsibility to heal from your mother and daddy issues and just love your parent from a distance. You don't have to love them and bleed. You don't have to do it. But I thank you all for listening. I hope that helps somebody know that they are not by themselves. My prayer is that we do continue to learn how to love our parents in difficult situations. I'm your girl, Kasira Elvie, a.k.a. Lady K. Catch you in May. Peace out.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.